with Markus. And you mentioned Markus with his back to the wall. He has got a number of national and regional championships, and I can tell you from experience that one of those regional championships, he beat me in a win in the last round and then proceeded to not lose a set for the entirety of day 2 to win the regional. So Markus Stadter is a player who has got results with his back to the wall when crunch time is on. He doesn't feel the pressure, but will that be enough to take down someone like Shoma Honami?
Yeah, we're going to have to see. Of course, Markus currently has a 3-1 record for the current World Cup, of course. Bringing a very interesting team versus Shohei. And we've definitely seen this sort of core of the Amundia Sin, just doing the usual stuff. But then you've got the accompanying Haze, Dragonite, Tailwind this time, so no Stomping Tantrum or Extreme Speed, just has that single form of offense. Sneasler, no Fake Out, no coaching as well, accompanied by Golden Go Life Orb for that immediate pressure and damage output, as well as the Ursaluna AV. Definitely something that's been rising in popularity over the past several months.
Yeah, well, we saw the Assault Vest Ursaluna, Golden Go Dragonite Sneasler, all that good stuff, recently winning the Stuttgart Regional Championships. So this is a very well-established team composition. This exact 6, actually, was the team that Eden Bachelor took to victory at Stuttgart. So, obviously, a very, very strong team composition. It's got a lot of options. It's got strong physical threats in Sneasler and Dragonite, depending on how the Incineroar is trained as well. Plus, it's got the Ursaluna with Terra Normal as well, which is an interesting change. A lot of the time, you see a defensive Terastallization on these Ursalunas on these teams, especially on the Assault Vest variants. You'll see them often with Terra Water. I've seen Terra Poison, Terra Fairy. This one going all-out offense with that Terra Normal, the Life Orb Golden Go as well. So, it's a team that's built around having a lot of angles to attack from and a lot of options for pivoting with the Amogus and the Incineroar. So I think Markus is a very adaptable player. It's a very adaptable team. So we're going to have to see what, I almost said Shohei there, sorry, Shoma's team looks like to see how Markus can play around it.
Oh, yeah, and sort of, Shoma has that play style of always bringing the spice, and he's definitely not let us down once more, bringing the Alolan Ninetales Focus Sash Encore set, which I do very much like. Got the Magma, D-Knight, Sneasler, Golden Go, Ursaluna, very, very similar teams between both of these trainers. 4 out of 6, of course, being a mirror, essentially, but some very interesting items mixed up in the affair. We've got the Clear Amulet Sneasler, no Protect, Ghost Terror, wants to be able to capitalize off of immediate pressure, whether that's through Fake Out or any of its stab offensive moves, or even a coaching to partner up by, let's say, a Dragonite on the side. And that Ursaluna, Silk Scarf, Ghost Terror. My mind is blown, Matt.
Yeah, it's an interesting set. Silk Scarf obviously gives you a bit less damage than Life Orb, but also allows you to build Ursaluna a bit bulkier, because you're not taking that recoil every single time you attack. Interestingly as well, the Ursaluna, the Silk Scarf stands out to me less than Vacuum Wave does on this set, because Vacuum Wave as the force move on Assault Vest sets makes a lot of sense. But on this set, you're foregoing Hyper Voice, which means there's no spread damage on that Ursaluna. The only spread damage on this team is the Blizzard and Icy Wind from Ninetales, which isn't doing a huge amount of damage off of that Focus Sash set, and the potential Make It Rain from Golden Go. So that means that maybe the redirection from Amoonguss in front of this Ursaluna could be a lot more scary for Shoma without the ability to just hit around it.
Yeah, that's a very fair point there. Really opting out of the Hyper Voice does skew a couple of different flowcharts, but it seems like Shoma's been got a plan going in order to be able to rematch those up. Of course, we've got Shoma at the current record of 3-0 in the current stretch of the Victory Road World Cup edition of 2024. So undefeated. We're going to have to see if Shoma's going to be able to pull out all of the stops versus Markus, of course, as we're going to go straight into Game 1, Blood Moon Gaming all around. We have got Blood Moon Ursaluna and Magma over on Shoma's side, and the Blood Moon and the Dragonite over on Markus.
See, this lead I think is good for Markus because of that Assault Vest on Ursaluna into these two special attackers. Because Ursaluna does have that Hyper Voice on Markus' side, you can still fire off those big Hyper Voices. Magma obviously can't really redirect those. It's under threat from an Earth Power, potentially. So I think the Ursaluna on Markus' side is very, very well positioned here. Shoma obviously has options to try and deal with that. You've got the Will-O-Wisp into Dragonite as well, which is a big threat. But I think the biggest threat here is obviously that Ursaluna threatening Hyper Voice, threatening Blood Moon. And the question is, how does Shoma deal with that in the early game?
Yeah, exactly. Since there is that redirection available for Shoma to be able to tap into. But we do have the first expose of the terrestrializations. It's going to be Terra Normal, of course, from Markus's side, going, like you mentioned, Matt, for that full offensive pressure. No terrestrialization over on Shoma's side, just going to be a Dragonite opting to go for the Protector. Does not want its multi-scale to be broken, especially by a Will-O-Wisp that could have been able to half its damage output. But Blood Moon does target down onto the Blood Moon slot, does guarantee a 2-shot there, but you really see the importance of that Assault Vest, and the retaliation of the Hyper Voice will be able to put it well within range of picking up with another subsequent Hyper Voice.
And there you see the benefit of, like you said, that Assault Vest, because the Silk Scarf boosted Blood Moon, doing about the same as that Terra Normal Hyper Voice did with the spread reduction. So now there's the threat, potentially, of this Dragonite going for a Tailwind, which means that the Ursaluna on Markus' side will outspeed Shoma's. But we did see there, importantly, Shoma's Ursaluna is faster than Markus's naturally, or at least it isn't slower.
Yeah.
So that is maybe something Shoma can lean on a little bit more, but again, I think that's just the Tailwind pressure means that Markus really has the upper hand here. Shoma's going to have to make a big play to turn this around. I don't know if an Overheat from Magmar is going to be enough to pick up the Assault Vest Ursaluna from this range.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And this situation, we're going to have to see the speed interactions. The Dragonite actually outspeeds that Magmar with the Tailwind, does allow and enable this Blood Moon Ursaluna to go for the Blood Moon into the Magmar slot, not even targeting Shoma's Blood Moon, maybe anticipating the Protect going out as well. Magmar has been felled, but Shoma's Blood Moon is now free to go for the Earth Power. Not enough to pick up the KO, however.
I really like that play from Markus, saying, okay, I value the multi-scale on my Dragonite more than I value a little bit of HP on Ursaluna, because his Ursaluna is now in Vacuum Wave range, but at the same time, Shoma's Ursaluna is probably in range of a Scale Shot, for example, so now Markus can potentially play around that Vacuum Wave, and getting rid of the burn threat on Magmar means that you keep your multi-scale up on your Dragonite, and also you keep its damage output at its maximum potential. So I like that from Markus, prioritizing keeping that Dragonite healthy, keeping it with its full damage output, rather than keeping the Ursaluna at full health. Because also Shoma didn't have the option to go for a big normal move there. Like we said, with no spread damage, there's no option to hit the Ursaluna and break Dragonite's multi-scale.
Yeah.
And there's no option to Blood Moon the Ursaluna because it used it the previous turn. So, very nicely played from Markus. And now we see... Was that the Dragonite coming in from Shoma? I missed that, yes.
Yeah, exactly. But we do know that Markus's Blood Moon will probably be quite threatened here by a Vacuum Wave being opted out from Shoma's side, as both of these Blood Moons do know Vacuum Wave and have them in their movesets. But it's going to be a real question on whether we're going to see a Focus or maybe even a staggered Tailwind being set up from Shoma's side.
That is an option, certainly. The other option is you just Scale Shot into Markus's Dragonite, because Markus has used his Terrestrialization, whereas Shoma has not. So the Terra Steel is available for Shoma if he wants to try and get around a potential Scale Shot from Markus's Dragonite, whereas Markus does not have that luxury. If a Scale Shot comes into his Dragonite here, that Dragonite is going down.
Yeah, and that's why it's so crucial to be able to opt in with your Terrestrialization at the most opportune moment. Like you mentioned, Matt, we have got Steel Terra Dragonite's going to be able to shrug off any sort of Scale Shots into that slot, but a Vacuum Wave Reed just join and trying to guarantee the break of that multi-scale, picks up a very nice critical hit as well before it gets failed from its counterpart on the other side of the field with the exact same move. And this does lean into sort of the play of, does Markus still try to focus down on Scale Shot? Kind of has to, because there's no other move. Oh, but it misses, unfortunate, and the Tailwind from Shoma will now be set up. You've got staggered Tailwind. You have got that Blood Moon Ursaluna off the field from Markus' side.
That's an unfortunate miss. I couldn't tell who that was targeting. I'm a bit rusty on my Japanese, unfortunately. But that Scale Shot miss, if it went into the Dragonite, might actually be a good thing for Markus, weirdly. And I think even in this situation, it might still be, because you've got the Incineroar to come in to intimidate the Dragonite here, and so you get another shot at maybe hitting this Ursaluna. I really like the play from Markus, though, of saying, and again, like, we see the importance of the multi-scale on Dragonite. We saw Markus playing very hard to preserve his own multi-scale in that second turn. opting to take out the Magmar instead of the Ursaluna. And again, this turn saying, okay, I think the most valuable thing I can do with my Ursaluna is break your Dragonite's multi-scale.
Yep.
But we actually don't see the Incineroar come in. Markus saying, I don't need an Intimidate. I am just going to put a lot more offensive pressure on you here with the potential Make It Rain from Golden Go.
Yeah, and I think it would have made a lot of sense for the Scale Shot to be trying to target down that Ursaluna. You want to be able to sort of forego that slot completely, lock it down, especially because of the Tailwind support online at the moment. But most crucially, because going for the Vacuum Wave at least guarantees that you've broken the multi-scale, regardless of whether there's a Terra option there or not. But the Golden Go, now on the field for Markus. Markus has reduced the amount of Tailwind turns available. Really needs to try to go and capitalize off of this momentum before Shoma has that speed control advantage ahead because of the staggered Tailwind.
Yeah, and it looks like we are now going to see the Incineroar coming in. And you're right, the staggered Tailwind here works very much in Shoma's favor if he can survive out these last couple of turns. But this Dragonite is under a lot of pressure, largely because it's just in a really bad offensive spot now with the Intimidate coming in. It's at -1. It does have Stomping Tantrum that could potentially hit the Golden Go, but Stomping Tantrum is not a strong move, and we don't see a Protect. And the Ursaluna is just going to drop to this Make It Rain.
Yeah, Shoma going for the pure offensive there, wanting to be able to capitalize off of perhaps even a defensive play from Markus, but no, that's not the case. Scale Shot will be trying to target down. This Incineroar does connect, of course, which was previously that Dragonite wanted to be able to pick up that slot. But yeah, what a turn of events. We see the Golden Go actually outspeeding the Dragonite on the other side of the field, maybe a bit of an indication of heightened speed training.
That's a very interesting turn there from Markus, because Shoma, I think, was maybe predicting Markus to predict him protecting. Because protecting on Ursaluna there to stall out a turn of Tailwind, try and get your staggered Tailwind back in your favor, makes sense. But at the same time, I think Markus... I don't believe Markus's Tailwind ran out there. He had an extra turn of Tailwind to work with. Or am I... Yeah, he had an extra turn of Tailwind to work with. So he was thinking, okay, I can just click this twice, and... You know, your Ursaluna is going to go down this turn or next turn, most likely, regardless of what you do. So I'm happy to just click the buttons. Whereas Shoma's saying, okay, well, if he goes for a nasty plot and I can get an Earth Power off, that's maybe his way back into the game. Because this is currently, I would say, heavily in Markus's favor.
Yeah, and I think you've got that option of being able to bring that Dragonite back in online after, of course, the Tailwind has expired. But we've got the Golden Go now being brought from Shoma's side, wanting to be able to capitalize off of things as well. But facing down this Incineroar is definitely not what you want to do when there's no Terra option available and you are Golden Go.
The question is, I think, will Incineroar go down to a Scale Shot plus an attack from Golden Go here? Because this Golden Go, if you can get rid of the Incineroar, is quite well positioned. Particularly if you can get a call right this turn, maybe if you protect the Golden Go and Dragonite goes for a knockout on Incineroar, or maybe if the Golden Go is bulky enough that it can survive Shadow Ball from the opposing Golden Go, then maybe there's a chance. But I think if you can isolate the Dragonite, if Shoma can isolate Dragonite in the end game with Golden Go, then that's the win condition here. But that's going to be very difficult, I think, given the current board state. Yeah,
and Markus making me feel very nervous, locking in at that very last second. Their Stomping Tantrum, not enough to pick up the KO onto the Incineroar, as we have the nasty plot now being set up. Markus wanting to go for the full offensive in the subsequent turns. Knockoff, though, unfortunately, it will be met with that protect from Golden Go's side, and we have finally got confirmation. Tailwind has now petered out, but at this point, if you're Markus, Matt, you probably want to be able to recycle that Dragonite in safely and perhaps get a Tailwind set up again.
Yeah, Markus feeling particularly fiendish that turn, deciding to go for the nasty plot. But the extra turns of Tailwind from Shoma, now the pressure is on the Golden Go. I think the question is, can Markus keep his Golden Go around for long enough to make it count?
Yeah.
Because both of these Pokemon on Markus' side are threatening a one-hit KO on the opposing Golden Go, but with the current speed order, Shadow Ball into Golden Go and maybe a Scale Shot into Incineroar would probably be enough to pick up the KO on either of Markus's Pokemon. So it's a very tricky endgame to navigate here. I think if you could maybe, as you said, cycle the Incineroar in and out, get some Intimidates down, stall out this last Tailwind, maybe get a Tailwind up yourself if you're Markus, that's maybe a way out. But this is a very, very strange spot for both players, I think.
Yeah, and it seems like Markus has wanted to forego the Dragonite slot in option of having that Incineroar come back online, like we said, get that Intimidate going or Fake Out. If the Dragonite does not survive, this is going to be quite crucial. 4 hits! It does survive, though, but from this Golden Go, which has not moved just yet, it may likely just go down. No, the Shadow Ball focuses, of course, into the Golden Go, so even though we've got Markus's Dragonite on the field, Tailwind has now petered out from Shoma's side. This isn't really a good situation for Markus. He really wanted that slot to get burned, surely, to be able to bring that Incineroar back online.
This is such a weird spot, again, because I think there are a couple of options here in terms of if Markus protects his Golden Go and clicks his own Tailwind, then surely Shoma is going to want to click Tailwind and knock out the Dragonite so that Markus can't get Tailwind up. But if Markus clicks Tailwind and just Shadow Balls the opposing Golden Go, that's game over.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very tricky position. I think this does come down to a call on whether or not Markus is going to protect his Golden Go this turn. I think this is a very, very crucial moment. I think the game could be decided this turn, potentially.
Oh, we're going to have to find out as the moves have been clicked in. Golden Go is actually going to be switching out this time, not wanting to get failed by a Shadow Ball focus because of the overwhelming speed advantage Shoma's got with that +2 Dragonite, guaranteeing the Tailwind will be set up. Scale Shot does not miss. It does connect into Markus's Dragonite, will be knocking it out. And the question is right now, does the Shadow Ball, is it enough with a Life Orb boost to be able to pick up this Incineroar from that low HP range?
Shadow Ball is going to come out. Is it going to be enough? Life Orb Golden goes very strong, but so is Incineroar. It hangs on! It hangs on!
Yeah,
now there's a Fake Out on the field now for Markus. And there's no Tailwind from Shoma's side. So if this Golden Go on Markus' end is faster, that's a potential way out here. But is there any way to... Yeah, this is another call. Because if you're Shoma and you protect Golden Go here, and Markus doubles down the Dragonite, then that's potentially a win for Markus, depending on Golden Go speeds. But again, if you Fake Out Dragonite and you don't protect your Golden Go, and Shadow Ball goes into Golden Go, Dragonite can't take out Markus's Golden Go. So it's... Again, it comes down to another call. I thought it was going to be decided last turn, but no, it's decided this turn instead.
Oh, what a turn of events, of course. We know this Dragonite on Shoma's side does not have Protect. It's got Scale Shot, Stomping Tantrum, Haze, and Tailwind, so it will be susceptible to a Fake Out. Let's see what our trainer is going to be focusing on. No Protect at all. Fake Out will be targeting the Dragonite. Critical hit at that. Will be flinching it, but the question is, which Golden Go moves first? It is going to be Shoma. It's going to be Shoma. It's going to pick up the KO onto Markus because of that life, or because of the Ghost typing still being susceptible to the Ghost typing, and Shoma running away with this game 1.
Whoa. That's... I wonder if maybe that was a speed tie between the Golden Goes. Oftentimes when you're seeing Life Orb Golden Goes, they're both built... Like, they're all built to be as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So that was maybe a speed tie in that end game. I wonder also if maybe Markus could have been a bit more aggressive on the previous turn, trying to play for that same speed tie on the turn that Golden Go Shadow Ball. But we saw Shoma just completely fearless in front of the opposing Golden Go, in front of all the Fake Outs, going, okay, I'm just not going to protect my Golden Go. I don't care to. I just don't think I want to protect here. Hit me if you like. I'm just going to hit you first.
Yeah, basically, and I think being able to sort of have that aggressive stance, when you're up against a very high caliber player as well, you need to be able to be brave. You need to be able to make those shots and make those aggressive plays to be able to sort of partially condition your opponent, if you can, into a certain tempo state. And we just saw that Shoma was like, no, I don't want to even get into mind games. I just want to play straight right now. I want to be able to just go for the targets. If I could pick up very key pieces from your board, then I'm just going to be able to have the overwhelming amount of advantage. And we just saw that Dragonite being able to have the scale shots and have that Steel Terror prove to be quite vital, because you're always guaranteeing you're outspeeding even outside of Tailwind, and then you can have that immediate Tailwind pressure as well.
Yeah, I think the staggered Tailwind ended up working really well in Shoma's favor there. I also think maybe in this next game, Markus might do a bit more to save his Terastallization. He went for that turn 1 Terastallization. He got value out of it in terms of just a lot of damage, but then he lost the ability, as we saw in that Dragonite War in the end, to Terastallize his own Dragonite, which meant that he ended up in a lot of pressure, under a lot of pressure to try and keep his Dragonite around for speed control. but it just led to a lot of scale shots going down on that slot. So maybe Markus might play a bit more cautiously with his terastallization. I think the Ursaluna was a very strong lead. I think maybe you might be better off just saying, okay, I'm not going to go full gas pedal immediately. I'm going to take my time a little bit, conserve my terastallization. I think he did a very good job of keeping his multiscale around his Dragonite. We saw his Dragonite's fast and Magmar as well, which is important information for the next game. So we'll see how these players adapt.
Ooh, immediate adaptations, at least from Shohei's side. We've got the Alola Ninetales accompanied by the Dragonite right now versus, of course, that previous Game 1 Magma and Blood Moon lead. And the same lead from Markus's side.
Yeah, a very strong lead from Shoma saying, okay, I think maybe you might go for the same lead and just adjust your game plan. So I'm going to go for a completely different lead, and now this Ninetales is going to blizzard everything you love. So it's a tricky situation. 2 ice weaknesses into a Ninetales is obviously a very strong position for Shoma. And also, Markus's Dragonite only has Scale Shot as attacking move. So if Shoma's Dragonite goes for its own terastallization here, which it may well do, then Markus's Dragonite can't hit Ninetales because it's a Fairy type. And is doing resisted damage into Shoma's Dragonite. So I think a very, very strong lead mix-up from Shoma. Maybe a potential Incineroar switch in from Markus could be good here, but instead we don't see that. We see a terastallization coming out.
Yeah, really wanting to go for the immediate offensive and catch Shoma out. Just from these leads, of course, there's going to be a lot of mind games going into this, but I think Markus really wanting to take his own back from that previous game, go on the offensive. Shoma countering 1 Terra Dragonite with another Steel now being the option. Markus is going to really have to try to knock this lead down if he wants to try to keep Germany in this match.
You see the Blizzard coming out. Doing under half to Ursaluna, very, very bulky. Dragonite using Scale Shot, and another miss! Another miss from Markus's Dragonite. That's so unfortunate. His Dragonite needs to put on his glasses, I think. He's having a bad day at the office. We see the Blood Moon come out from Ursaluna. Big damage down into Ninetales. But crucially, Shoma's Dragonite keeps its multi-scale alive, which I think was the key thing that Markus was trying to get around there. First of all, forcing the terastallization from Shoma, and secondly, breaking the multi-scale. Because if you get a Scale Shot off there into Dragonite, it's now in range of a potential Earth Power from Ursaluna, for example. But keeping that multi-scale intact is huge.
Yeah, it genuinely is. And the fact that Shoma's got that Tailwind now active really puts him in the driver's seat, because you've got Encore support as well if you don't get failed by a Vacuum Wave from that range. So Marta's going to have to try to focus and does try to target that slot, does pick up the Ninetales, hitting neutral, of course, because the Ice and Fairy typing. However, this Dragonite from Shoma's side cannot target. Markus's Dragonite does opt in for the Ursaluna, of course, does connect. 3rd hit going right now into 4th, and I think even if there is a 5th one, it's going to be able to survive just barely, but this opens up the board for Markus to potentially get a Tailwind set up of his own, as well as go in to an Earth Power. Now the Steel Terra Dragonite will be weak, of course, in the subsequent turn, but Blood Moon Ursaluna already doing a really good job getting rid of the Ninetales there.
The problem is now there's the 2 Steel types in front of the Dragonite again.
Yeah.
It's such a weird spot to try and play around, because now this Dragonite is also on Markus' side weak to Make It Rain from Golden Go. And it doesn't have its multi-scale up. And critically, Shoma has hit a Scale Shot, so even with the matched Tailwinds, Shoma's going to have the speed advantage on these Dragonites. So there's maybe an Incineroar switch in for Markus here, get down and Intimidate on the Dragonite. Resist both of Golden Go's moves is probably your best play here, just to try and keep your Dragonite alive. As we saw, it was such a key piece in the last game.
Yeah.
Then what do you do with your Ursaluna? Do you do the same thing you did last time, where you just try and break the multiscale? Do you try and keep it around for later? It's a really, really tough position, I think, for Markus.
Yeah, I think it genuinely is, as the Vacuum Wave will actually hit super effective onto this Golden Go, thanks to that Mind's Eye ability. Stomping Tantrum, wanting to opt in for a bit more accuracy, will pick off this Blood Moon Ursaluna. Markus does have the advantage when it comes to staggered Tailwinds, but the Golden Go from Shoma opting in for a nasty plot. Now at +2 of its special attack, it doesn't want to get rid of this Dragonite just yet, because it's not necessarily in Markus's favor to be able to keep it on the field. It's hitting for resisted Scale Shots, but still doing respectable damage, at least, onto the Dragonite over on Shoma's side.
Yeah, we saw that the defense drop from Scale Shot being very important there, with the amount of damage that's going to do, because the first one obviously being halved by the multi-scale means that another scale shot into that Terrasteel Dragonite will probably be enough to pick up the KO.
Yeah.
And also, Markus still has the threat of Haze on the field. So that nasty plot from Golden Go could potentially be nullified immediately. The other option is maybe you just go, okay, I'm just going to try and KO your Dragonite and go for a knockoff into your Golden Go, threaten both, get rid of your speed control option. Might be the better play here, because there is that staggered Tailwind with one turn in Marcus's favor.
Yep.
So it could be a good idea for Markus here to maybe just go aggressive now, so that when he's got that one extra turn of staggered Tailwind, Shoma is in a position where he can't necessarily pivot around.
Yeah, and I think being able to be immune to a scale shot as well right now is so crucial, because you add to the point of being able to really scare off that Golden Go. Even if it is at +2 of its special attack, it'll need a double up focus into that Incineroar in hopes of even being able to pick up the KO. And because the Dragonite on Shoma's side is at -1 of its physical attack, might mean that it might not just be enough even with a double up to be able to pick it off.
We'll see here, and Marcus's Dragonite going first in this fight. It is a speed tie between these two Dragonites.
Wow.
It may need 5 hits to pick this up, even with the defense drop. Is it going to be enough? We see the 4th hit come out. Will it get the 5th? It doesn't get the 5th hit! Shoma's Dragonite hangs on!
Oh, that's so crucial as well, because it allows this Dragonite now to pick up some crucial damage onto Incineroar. Will connect with the scale shot, of course going for the 3rd hit, hoping for maximum damage here with those 5 hits, and it's not gonna get it, only 4 times. But the question is right now, the Shadow Ball from this Life Orb, +2 special attack boosted. Golden Go doesn't even go for the Shadow Ball, goes for the Make It Rain, but it hangs on most crucially there, and Dragonite is gone. Incineroar is at such small HP, surely there's not a lot of gas left in the tank for it.
But it will probably be enough here just to pick up the KO on the Golden Go, you imagine. And here comes the knockoff. This will be enough to pick up the Golden Go.
Okay.
So there's that threat down. And Shoma's Dragonite is very low on HP, and again, crucially, does not have Protect, and does not have Tailwind.
Yes.
So now, it looks like Markus might be in the driver's seat in this situation, depending on what Shoma's last Pokemon is. That's going to be really crucial, because Shoma's Dragonite, it's got Stomping Tantrum, but at -1 of its attack, that's not doing that much damage into Golden Go. The last Pokemon here that we see is Ursaluna,
wow.
and that's scary.
Yeah, that is extremely scary. Not only is it a terrifyingly big bear, it is also a very powerful one, which does directly threaten this Golden Go. But we did see Tailwind is now in favor of Markus. It's actually petered out for Shoma's side, so I feel like Markus is really wanting to be able to prioritize picking up a KO on this Dragonite first, and understandably onto the Blood Moon, but we've seen it's got a multiple scale shot speed boost, so it's going to really come down to whether it can actually be faster than this Golden Go.
That is, I think, what might decide this, because, again, we see the problem with this Dragonite not having Protect is that it can't do anything against a potential impending Make It Rain. And Ursaluna, without the Assault Vest, does not have that much Special Bulk, so this is going to do a lot of damage. We do see the Make It Rain come out. Golden Go is faster than the Dragonite, doing a lot of damage to the Ursaluna as well. Incineroar is going to move first with the Tailwind up. Is it going to be enough to pick up a knockout on this Ursaluna?
Yeah, the most powerful move it could go for is the Flare Blitz right now. Golden Go does get some HP loss, but the question is it enough? It is!
It is!
Oh my god, critical hit as well on top of that. Add more spice to your recipe, Incineroar. We have got a Game 3 on our field. Markus versus Shoma. Germany's lifeline still on the field.
That could have been a very crucial critical hit as well. If an Earthbound came out from that Ursaluna and knocked out the Golden Go, then Vacuum Wave is suddenly threatening Incineroar. So I don't know if the Flare Blitz critical hit made a difference there. I think it, again, as we've said so many times today, comes down to how these Pokemon are trained. If the Incineroar is trained for a lot of attack, then maybe the Flare Blitz is enough to pick it up there. We've seen the Ursaluna has at least some speed investment because it was faster than Markus's Ursaluna, so we don't know how bulky that is. And given that you're running an offensive item like the Silt Scarf, it may have been trained a lot more in speed and special attack. So, either way, we'll never know, because Markus got the critical hit.
I mean, we'll never know for now. Who knows? We might find out in Game 3 if there's any sort of weird similar interaction. But yeah, I think Markus being able to identify some really good key pieces to the strategy there, gets a staggered Tailwind, make sure that he gets rid of the adaptation with that Ninetales from Shoma's side. It felt like it was in a good spot to be able to do some really good, you have some really good utility with the Encore and stuff like that. But the Vacuum Wave proving so crucial to be able to actually pick it off straight away.
Yeah, I like the idea from Markus there to just pick off the Ninetales as soon as possible, because like you said, with the Encore, that can get very annoying if Tailwind's up. Yeah. With Blizzard, you're also, even if it's not doing that much damage, we saw it's doing a lot to the Ursaluna, but not enough to maybe get the 2-shot. But there's the freeze chance still. With a 10% freeze chance on both Pokemon, if you let it click Blizzard enough times, there's a good chance it's going to get a freeze. So just clearing that off the field, and again, saving that Terastallization for the Dragonite this time around, instead of burning it on the Ursaluna straight away, proved to be very, very crucial, because as we saw, just being completely immune to that Scale Shot is so valuable for Markus, because it means that Dragonite, even if Shoma's Dragonite goes for that Terra Steel, you're not doing that much damage to it,
right?
But you're doing still a decent chunk, and it can't Scale Shot you back to get any of those speed boosts. So
exactly, yeah.
And again, it may be a case of, does Shoma now want to play around that Terra Fairy on the Dragonite, maybe bring the Sneasler, go back to the Magmar, but no, we just see the same leads from both sides.
Yeah, and Shoma, even though at a position where you'd think, okay, well, the Alolan Ninetales didn't really do much, it was still able to force a Terra out of the Dragonite from the get-go, especially in combination with Shoma's own Dragonite. So I'm quite curious to see if there's going to be those mind game adaptations about which moves both of our trainers are going to be able to select right here, because just going for Blizzard Spam isn't necessarily a bad thing from what I can see from Shoma's point of view now.
Yeah, like you said, it does force the Terastallization from Dragonite. It also forces fire on itself, because as we mentioned, with the threats that it's got with the Encore, the Icy Wind. So it's still valuable here, and if Shoma has brought something in the back end to try and punish a potential Terra Fairy from Dragonite, then this could end up being very, very nice. I think Markus, it looked like he locked in that Terra Fairy on Dragonite and didn't go for a Tailwind. If this Ninetales goes down this turn or next turn, and there is a Sneasler in the back for Shoma, then this could be a real problem for Markus.
Yeah, as we're going to have to find out, folks. We are so close knitted between both of these trainers right now, separated by margins. Aurora Veil not even opting to go for the Blizzard, wants to make sure there's a bit more defense in the back for its partner Pokemon. We've got Dragonite moving first from Markus' side, does target down, of course, Shoma's, breaks the multi-scale, and most crucially, will be able to get a speed boost going. 4 hits, once again, definitely not what Markus wants to see, but over on Shoma's side, this is probably just going to be a Tailwind setup.
And we do see that Tailwind coming out, Shoma saying, okay, well, I don't want to Scale Shot into a Terra Fairy, and Scale Shot into Ursaluna is not doing that much damage. But now we see the benefit of this Aurora Veil. Ninetales was in range of a Vacuum Wave after a Blood Moon last time. This time, it's not even close. And so now it has that threat, again, as you said, of the Encore potentially threatening to stop a Tailwind setup from Markus' Dragonite, I think, crucially here. Which could be a real issue if this Dragonite gets locked into Scale Shot in front of a Steel type and a Fairy type.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Shoma being able to masterfully pave the scenario, learn from Game 2, adapt for Game 3, especially against the same leads, and Markus just wanting to be able to capitalize off of any play that Shoma doesn't opt in for, especially with that Aurora Veil. Tailwind now in favor of Shoma, so we're going to have to see how Markus is going to try to adapt to this.
Oh, Markus timed out. I'm scared. Your time's out to protect.
Okay, alright. If you want a timeout, it's going to have to be with that one move. As we see, the Blizzard actually comes out. Shoma going for the offensive, wanting maximum damage. Super effective, of course, onto this Blood Moon Ursaluna, even if there is a ground typing. Oh! Scale Shot does miss! Might have just put it within range! Oh, they
Whoa!
But no, Earth Power trying to retaliate, pick up the KO, but because of that Aurora Veil, the Dragonite hangs on.
No Encore coming out from Shoma. I guess probably predicting that the Dragonite might switch or protect there. And crucially, I think this is the Dragonite is in Vacuum Wave range on Shoma's side.
Yeah.
And Markus has done a very good job of keeping his Dragonite fully healthy at this point. So this could be the most staggered Tailwind that Markus could possibly get here. If he can potentially stall out Shoma's entire Tailwind, maybe keep the Incineroar alive. Keep the Dragonite alive here, and punish the opposing Dragonite with a Vacuum Wave, then he could have speed control for the entire game, is an option he has here.
Yeah, it's going to have to come down to whether Shoma can read into that, as the Vacuum Wave will pick off the Steel Terra Dragonite, which we saw Shoma really hone in on so well in Game 1 and Game 2. This really integral key piece being removed. No Encore coming out. Blizzard, not enough to pick up this Assault Blast or Saluna, but there's the freeze on the Dragonite. Is it going to fall out? It immediately does! There we go! Tailwind will now come out, like you said, Matt, the most staggered Tailwind you can get.
What is going on? Scale shot this, Blizzard freeze, instant thaw. Oh my god, my emotions.
Yeah, roller coaster, my friend. My lord.
And this is what I was saying, like, again, Markus saying, okay, I'm just going to leave your Ninetales here, making the correct read that there was no Encore coming out, but this is what we were saying, like, just pressing Blizzard enough times, there's a good chance you're going to get a freeze on something. And Markus fortunately managed to thaw out immediately there. But can you afford to leave this Ninetales on the field for much longer?
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, are you going to be able to capitalize off of the Tailwind turns that you've got from Markus' side? I mean, definitely the advantage is in his favor. He needs to be able to bring in that Golden Go later on to be able to dispatch of Shoma's own Golden Go that has just been brought in, and perhaps even outlast the remaining turns of Aurora Veil. We know this is Focus Sash Ninetales. It does not have Light Clay.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stalling here maybe from Markus through the Aurora Veil and through the remaining turns of this Tailwind. Again, this Dragonite, it's been so valuable for getting Tailwind up, but it's just not putting any offensive pressure on Shoma at the moment because of that. It's only got Scale Shot, so it can't hit Ninetales. It's not doing any damage to Golden Go, really, through that Aurora Veil. Do you want to try and keep it around? Do you maybe try and switch in an Incineroar to start taking hits from these two Pokemon on Shoma's side? It feels odd that Markus has just stayed in for this entire time and not brought that Incineroar in, but maybe he's just wanted to bring it in fully healthy to put a lot of pressure down on the two Pokemon that are currently on the field.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense as we see the protects from either side. Vacuum Wave trying to get some respectable chip damage, even through Aurora Veil, onto the Golden Go, but Blizzard will now be able to finally get rid of this Blood Moon from Markus' side, which has really put out all of the stops in this Game 3. Most crucially, putting that Dragonite within range and for a follow-up of a Vacuum Wave, as now we finally have Shoma's Tailwind expiring. Incineroar can easily be brought in, even Golden Go can, and we know they will outspeed both of Shoma's Pokemon, most likely.
Yeah, this is very well managed from Markus to, like I said, just wanted to bring that Incineroar in safely, saying, okay, there's not really any value in keeping a very low health Ursaluna around. Now it's a case of what does Markus bring in, because depending on the Incineroar's speed stat, it may not be faster than this Ninetales with Tailwind up. So we do see the Golden Go coming in instead. Ninetales cannot protect, so this could potentially be a free Make It Rain, but then there's the threat of the opposing Golden Go doing a lot of damage to you here, so maybe do you focus down the Golden Go? Are you trying to again call a Protect on Shoma's side? A lot of reads to be made here yet again.
Yeah, and sort of comes to the point where how much respect do you give to that Golden Go and Shoma's playstyle right now? We saw very aggressive in Game 1, a bit more defensive in Game 2. This is the critical point of this set right now. This will make the difference on whether Japan does go through or not. And yeah, Shadow Ball, I feel from Markus' side, there has to be a bit of a reliance of trying to at least get rid of the Golden Go, because you at least allow yourself to be able to get rid of a piece, which is so crucial. And Alola Ninetales, at this point, is not going to be able to do as much other than maybe get some Blizzards, but we actually have a switch out of the Golden Go from Shoma's side for this Blood Moon of his own.
What a great switch from Shoma there, coming in on... We will see a Shadow Ball coming out in just a second, making that call 100% correctly. And Shoma's done such a good job throughout this entire set of making himself so difficult to get a read on, I think. Yeah. And that's a skill that a lot of people maybe underrate sometimes, is playing adaptably so that your opponent can't consistently make those calls. Like you said, he played really aggressive with that Golden Go Game 1, was a bit more defensive with it in Game 2, this time opting for neither an attack or a Protect, instead bringing in the Ursaluna and the Encore into the Dragonite, crucially meaning that it can't set up another Tailwind once this first Tailwind goes down.
Yeah, both Snow and Aurora Veil have now expired. There are multiple speed boosts on this Dragonite, and at this point, it's sort of like a scale shot simulator with its remaining roll, unless you get a switch out of the Incineroar, get the cycling going. But most crucially, the Golden Go had such a free make it rain, but we saw the mind games with that turn. Shoma absolutely calling the Shadow Ball focus, the huge respect from one Golden Go to another, which allowed him to still stay in this match.
Yeah, very, very well played. But the problem is both of these Pokemon are now still in range of that Make It Rain. So this may have to be a protect on Ursaluna to reposition. Yeah. And the Encore is so crucial here, like we said, because that means that once this Golden Go comes in from Shoma's side, there isn't going to be the option of clicking Tailwind on the next turn from Markus. So very well managed from Shoma to get around a very, very tricky endgame position. I think Markus, with the Incineroar still in the back, is still in the driving seat here, but Shoma has made it very, very difficult for him to try and position correctly around what this endgame is going to look like.
Yeah, exactly. Does actually pick up the KO, of course, with that ×4 weak to steal Alolan Ninetales. But most crucially, Tailwind has now just expired from Marcus's side. And we've got the Golden Go being brought back in from Shoma's. So Scale Shot is still, I'd say, within range of being able to pick up a KO with all 5 hits, if they all connect, of course, onto that Blood Moon Ursaluna. And it may just come down to a bit of a speed tie between both Golden Goes, but Markus does have that Incineroar in the back, maybe to even end up and sweep this game against a 1v1 Golden Go.
Yeah, it's such a tough spot here, but I think, like you said, as soon as this Ursaluna goes down, because Shoma does not have that Terastallization left, I think Incineroar is always going to win this endgame, so that is the priority target. So does Shoma maybe call that that's the target that Markus is going to go for? Does he go for maybe a double protect on the Ursaluna here to try and catch that? It's still not completely over, despite the fact that it looks so good for Markus. We don't see the double protect come out, maybe hoping for not enough hits of Scale Shots. Will it be enough?
Oh, we're going to have to find out. This is going to be so close. Third hit. It looks like it might just be enough. And no, it's not. Is there...
And he finally gets the 5 hits!
He gets the 5 hits! He's so desperately wanted in the previous games, paying off right now in this game theory. But there's another interaction right now. Which Golden Go moves first? There is no switch out of that Incineroar. Is it going to be Shoma's? Is it going to be an advantage? No, Make It Rain, single target, Life Orb boosted, deals about 25% of its HP, but we know Markus has that Incineroar in the back. Shadow Ball will be targeted down, picks up Marcus's Golden Go, and does open free reign for this Incineroar to be brought onto the field. Full HP's worth, has a knockoff priority focus into that Golden Go.
Yeah, I think this game is pretty much over at this point. I think even a critical hit into that Incineroar is not going to be anywhere near taking it down. It was so well played from Markus. We were talking earlier about maybe having an Incineroar switch in on the Dragonite Ninetales lead, because it's obviously a very threatening Pokemon in that situation with super effective damage on the Ninetales. It's got Dragonite intimidated. If Dragonite goes for that Terra Steel, again, that's super effective. But as we see here, keeping this Incineroar fully healthy for this Golden Go endgame was really, really strong foresight from Markus, saying, okay, I am going to need this piece later. It's really tempting to use it now, but it's more valuable that I go for this secure endgame instead of maybe trying to gamble on speed ties with Golden Goes.
Yeah, exactly. And at this point, you know, Markus doing an incredible job of being able to, you know, come back from essentially a 1-0 disadvantage versus none other than Shoma Honami does clock in with that Scale Shot. It does not miss. And that in combination with a knockoff will get Markus this set win versus Shoma, but most importantly will still allow Germany a lifeline versus Japan in hopes of being able to get that coveted top 4 placement. Dragonite, of course, does get felled by the Make It Rain, and this is just sort of an end of business state right now. Incineroar just doing what Incineroar does, absolutely wrecking their opponents, especially the Golden Go.
Yeah, the Life Orb tick brings it closer. Fleblitz comes out. That's going to pick it up, and that is a win for Markus. What a set. And we were saying Markus back against the wall, 3-0 down, 1-0 down in the set. Doesn't matter. Cool as a cucumber. Markus pulls out the win.